Welcome to the Breaking Hyman podcast. My guest is Neil Barrett. What all do you do? I know you're a man of many talents. I mean, music.
I don't know where to start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can start at the beginning. What art form have you been doing the longest?
Music.
Music?
Probably.
What age did you get into music?
I started playing guitar when I was probably 7 or 8 years old.
Oh, shit. So you started way younger than me, even.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of a haphazard thing. Like I had like an old, just an acoustic guitar.
Yeah. Well, it was like kids'
Thought
guitars.
I was
yeah.
playing Metallica, but
Sure.
really it was like just kind of going.
I want to play that puppet song.
Right. I want to learn the solo to one or
Yeah.
whatever, but it progressed from there.
Nice.
Yeah.
So this would have been what, like mid 80s?
Yeah, like 87, 88,
Yeah.
something like that.
And you grew up here in Lubbock, Texas, correct?
Yeah, I was born in Astoria, Oregon.
Oh, shit.
So technically I'm a Goonie, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Never say die, man.
My family's mostly from Texas.
Yeah. What were you doing up in Oregon? I mean, obviously being born, but the fam.
You know, I'm not sure exactly. My
really?
grandma liked to move around a lot.
Oh, okay.
She was an organist and in churches.
Okay, organist from Oregon, or organist that lived in Oregon.
Yeah.
So did your grandma raise you a lot? Or did
More,
y'all just
more
kinda
than
live?
the average person, probably.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
because I grew up with a single mom, and my mom and my grandma were always close, so there were a lot of times I spent, hanging out with my grandma.
All right. Well, that is as much biographical information. We'll talk about art and shit more. So you started playing guitar 7 or 8, and then when did you start playing in bands and shit?
I think I tried to start my first band like when I was probably 13.
Shit. So that's.
Yeah, just in junior high school, like 7th grade.
Is there anybody that I know that you're playing with back then?
Well, like around that time, I met Jamie Brock.
Okay. Jamie Brock, friend of the podcast.
Right.
A former guest. Yeah.
And yeah, it was kind of funny because, he and his older friends, like they were all like kind of in high school and I was a junior high kid, but like I was the kid with the guitar and,
sure, yeah.
Could play. And
Well, and when it comes to musicians, it really doesn't matter how old you are. Because, I mean...
No, it matters what you get into and how early. And I mean, there are 10-year-old children now that are better than I am on drums.
Yeah, well, they kind of... Those kids kind of piss me off.
Yeah.
They kind of piss me off because, you can play all that shit, but do you know, why you're playing what you're playing?
Right,
Or
do you know where any of that came from?
I know. I mean, and it's rad as fuck that they can do it. So...
It's crazy, to see, the young people evolve to where, by the time they're 8 or 10 years old, they're doing things that, would have blown people's minds.
Yeah, I
back
know.
in the day when
Because you have these parents now, they're like, you're going to learn this.
Yeah,
And
they
my
give them
parents were
lessons
very-
and buy them endless gear and eventually wind up funding their tours for their self-entitled bands.
Yeah, well, and it's
I've
funny
seen
because
that.
I see these little kids on the Norman's Rare Guitars channel, and I mean, they put on some legitimately great, but it's this is just a little rich kid whose parents bought him a 335 or something or some badass guitar.
I mean, you can't discount the talent.
No, you can't.
And the work
You
that went
can't.
into it, but you can also see where parents push their children to do crazy things, and it's
and even
wow,
oh
that's
yeah,
amazing. But
Mhm.
what if that kid didn't want to do that? What
Yeah.
if that kid wanted to be, in ballet or something? And
Or
you're
I'm
making
thinking
him
about-
shred the guitar.
the guys who are just as talented, but they don't come from money. So
Right, so they
Yeah.
don't have the advantages of
Yeah.
lessons and good gear and all that
So-
kind of stuff.
So
Which
in it,
that was where I came from.
yeah, so same. I mean, my parents were they didn't even know anything about music, so there wasn't anything do better, try harder. It's that sounds great. Good, keep it up, kid.
Yeah, no, I got just endless encouragement from my mom. But
Oh, really? That's great, dude. I need to start a timer because I lose track of time when we're doing this shit. So from music, so you started with guitar, and I know you mostly as a drummer, mostly.
Yeah.
But when did you pick up the drums or get a drum kit?
Probably about 13.
Okay.
About 13 years old, 14 years old. I started. So my grandmother was like, she was kind of a master musician. Also.
Oh, really?
So
is you an organist?
She just had all this gear around all
Okay.
the time. Like, I mean, she had accordions. Like the first drum kit I had, like the very first way I started learning how to play drums, was I just had a snare drum and a hi hat,
Oh, okay.
and I would stomp on the floor for a bass drum.
Oh, nice.
And so like I would just sit there and listen to albums on my jam box,
Yeah.
and I started listening to things like drummers that I thought were interesting,
Yeah.
not necessarily like bands I was like super into,
Yeah.
but like stuff like Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains.
Sure.
like,
Yeah. So this would have
some
put
of the
you
early
early
stuff.
90s, late 80s, early 90s. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
And those were the first drummers that influenced me. Like,
Yeah. So,
Helmet was a big.
oh, fucking love Helmet. Yeah. Touring again. Well, I think one of my friends just saw Helmet in concert not long ago. I'm like, and she showed me a picture.
I just saw them
You
a
saw
few
them
months
too?
ago, and they're coming through Texas again, like in February.
I might have to check that
And
out.
dude, if you've never seen Helmet,
Never
like,
have.
It's right now. I think it's just Paige Hamilton and a bunch of hired guns.
Sure. Yeah.
But the hired guns are killing it. Like,
Oh, those guys,
they're
you gotta be
playing it
good.
lick for lick. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, and they're amazing musicians, and it's. I
Okay.
mean, it's just like, it's different dudes, but it's,
Yeah.
it's just as good as
Okay.
when I saw them in like '93 or something.
Damn,
94.
that's awesome. So you're in your primary music project, Porno Helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Where can people find that Instagram? It's Porno HUHELMUT, like the German
Right,
name Helmut.
Yeah, unfortunately on Instagram, like, I mean, you can search Porno Helmet with a U and you can find it, but they won't let you name an Instagram
Porno, really?
with the word porn in it.
That's
so
so
I had
stupid.
So it's POOR in
Oh, poor, like you're poor.
porn.
No Helmet. Yeah. That's so
it's,
stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid, but it's whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
I have a Reddit account that's like horse dick or something. It's so shitty how some of the platforms don't care.
Like,
Yeah.
anyway.
So, what are you doing? When's the last time you've done gigs with Porno Helmet? Because I know it's like an audiovisual kind of project.
Unfortunately,
too.
it's been like a year.
Really?
Like a little over a year.
I remember when you did that
because-
tour a while back.
Yeah, I did a tour a couple of years ago with
Mm.
my buddy Octopole, who's one of the only other audiovisual drum acts solo out there.
But you've toured like through Europe and shit, and
several
Mexico.
times. Yeah, played in Mexico City.
That's fucking rad. I mean, I think the thing that blew my mind is you don't have to be a famous musician to go into. I know a lot of guys here in Lubbock that work a job and then just fund their tours. They'll go to Europe or whatever, and you've got a lot of connections and
yeah.
That's fucking
I mean,
cool.
like, COVID screwed things up really bad.
It sure did.
So yeah, all of a sudden I'm looking at my Facebook memories and it's like I haven't been to France in 6 years and I'm like, what the fuck?
I've never been to France, so as you're ahead of me there.
I mean, I just.
But yeah,
I have a lot of friends there.
Sure,
like
yeah.
that country in
Do
particular.
you speak any French?
Barely. I can get around.
Un
like
poquito.
I can eat. I'm better at Spanish, honestly.
Oh, okay, cool, yeah. So when did you go from music to like start like because you also do like video editing and like I don't even know what all you do.
An amalgamation of all those things. Like I don't know. Like I guess I also when I was a kid, like I wanted to be a writer. I was really into Stephen King. And I was really into film stuff. So like horror movies. And
You're avid
so I wanted
VHS
to do
collector.
all of it, like
Yeah.
eventually all of those interests, like music and video and film and all that stuff, like started to kind of snowball into these crazy projects, like Porno Helmet.
Yeah.
And,
So when was the inception of Porno Helmet? How long have you had that project?
I think it was 2001.
Shit. So almost 24 years. That's insane.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
always been this thing. Like sometimes I won't even do it for a year or 2 years.
But
and
it's
then-
it's an ongoing thing. Have you ever had any other collaborators with Porno Helmet? You? Is it just you?
I mean, well, it's kind of weird because I do use some found footage as
Okay.
stuff and then like manipulate it.
Yeah,
for
and all
the
that's on
live
like you.
visuals.
A lot of that's on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, some
Yeah,
of it, and
okay.
some of
I've
it's
seen
all,
some of it.
off old VHS tapes and weird.
Oh, cool.
Really weird, obscure things, but
Yeah,
still, like I consider that, like a lot of bands have done that through the years. Like Neurosis borrowed a bunch of stuff to
Right.
do their visuals, and they were an early band, stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I've never felt like I was stealing people's stuff, but
oh
like,
no, it's
I
just like
felt more
sampling
like
and stuff.
like it's just like
Yeah.
kind of make a pulp of the cultural things and
Yeah.
the weird stuff that
Yeah, I dig
come
that
across,
kind of. So, and then you also Jamie name dropped you on the podcast. You promoted shows and stuff. You brought bands here.
Yeah.
Did you say like Lightning Bolt played in your living room or something at one point?
In my kitchen.
In your
yeah.
kitchen.
If
How'd you get into that?
Well, it was kind of crazy. Those guys just came through one year and
Uh-huh.
like blew our mind. Like we actually, the first time I saw Lightning Bolt, I was on a bunch of mushrooms.
Oh, that's the best way to see a band.
So it was pretty amazing. But
Uh-huh.
like they blew our mind. We stayed in touch with them. They wanted to book a show here. Their record label guy, Ben from Load Records,
Okay.
hit me up, and like we were trying to find a space, and it was right when Lubbock was just going through one of those times where it was hard to find a place to do.
Yeah. What year would
like
that have
a
been?
punk rock kind of show.
So I'm trying to remember.
Oh, geez, that must have been like 98.
Okay.
97.
Okay. Yeah. There wasn't much going on in Lubbock.
99,
Then.
like between 97 and 99 probably.
Okay.
But yeah, like finally it came down to it, and I was like, we can do a house show.
Yeah.
And the dude was kind of like tripped out because little did I know, like Lightning Bolt was blowing up at that
Oh
moment.
yeah.
And they weren't like big yet, but like they were having shows in like New York City that were
Yeah.
like 700 people. were
Oh
coming
shit!
out.
So playing in a living or kitchen in Lubbock, Texas,
so
at a house
like
show.
at that point playing, for 60 or 70 bucks in a kitchen.
Yeah, and house
having
shows.
the cops called and
Yeah.
everything. Like, but in hindsight, it's one of the most like, I mean, to me, and I think to a lot of other people,
Yeah.
because I've met a lot of people through just that DVD. Like, it's one of the most epic moments of that fucking tour, because it's just like, wow, man, this is what we came from,
Yeah.
and this is what we're capable of.
On the same tour, yeah, they're playing a 700 seater, and then in your kitchen.
Right.
And
for
I
like
bet you they
30
fucking
people.
remember that kitchen show
And they
as
just-
well or
Oh,
better.
of course. They destroyed it. They fucking,
Hell yeah.
it was like, I think I say that like on the DVD, something about like,
Yeah.
it takes a lot of guts to just grab a bunch of shitty fucking equipment and throw it in a fucking
Yeah.
kitchen and like play a show that's like the most epic show ever.
So you said there was a DVD. Was it something a Lightning Bolt released?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
called
really?
The Power of Salad and Milkshakes.
Is that The Power of Salad and Milkshakes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up, see if I can find it online somewhere. Because I'd like to watch that.
Yeah,
Are you in
I-
it? Oh, shit.
I introduced the clip where they play in my kitchen and stuff.
That's fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
So who else did you? I know that's the one of the bigger ones you brought here. Who else did you bring? Any other bands here over the years?
Oh yeah. I mean, we brought. Let's see. I mean, it was me and a collective of people
Yeah,
that I
sure.
helped out. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I can't. I'm not gonna parse it out and be like, I actually booked this band, but I,
Right.
promoted this show. What?
But you
brought
helped.
collectively in Lubbock as like a small group of people. We brought Melt Banana. We brought High on Fire. We brought fucking
Oh, y'all brought High on Fire here. Fuck. That's
Guy
cool.
Hit Silo, Carp twice at
Yeah.
the drive-in like multiple times.
Yeah, I've heard about those
Those
shows.
guys were our buddies, man.
Yeah. Love that band.
Yeah, I mean, stuff of that caliber. At one time, like, my band opened up for Green Day twice, but they didn't make it either time because one time their ice cream truck broke down.
Green Day was
And-
touring in an ice cream truck at one point?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure.
Was
I
that
mean,
around Kerplunk?
That's at least like the folklore of the thing, but
wow.
yeah, no, it was right when it was before and right around the time Dookie was coming out.
Okay.
Like,
So before they
like
blew up.
before they were on MTV, and there was
Yeah.
a lot of stuff like that. Like,
They were supposed to play here in Lubbock, like what, like 93, 94?
yeah, because it was
Wow.
like 94 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Dookie was 94. I remember I got it for my 12th birthday, and my parents wouldn't let me keep it.
Yeah, they booked that one show. They broke down, didn't make it. They booked another show coming through, and then they
Really?
got busted for weed. I
Ow.
think. And like one of the times they showed up at like midnight, and everyone had left.
Oh.
But yeah, no,
Yeah.
there's epic stories like that. I mean,
That's
Black
crazy.
Flag has played Lubbock.
Yeah, no, I've heard that. Yeah,
Um,
my friend Rob Weiner saw the Minutemen about a month before D. Boone died here
Yeah,
in Lubbock.
there
Yeah,
you go.
yeah. It's crazy who all has come through here.
I mean,
we don't have that much
like,
anymore.
We saw the Offspring at a coffee house for like $5.
Yeah. Michael Mayer told me about that.
Like just a few months before their
Yeah,
debut video on
Yeah.
MTV, and like, no, there was a
That's
ton
insane.
ton of stuff like that.
I was like 5 years too young to be exposed to all that.
We had Elliott Smith one time.
I know. Yeah, Jamie talked
and
about
he
that
didn't
one.
even play through the PA. Like everyone was just silent.
Yeah, the
And he
guy.
played his songs, and
Yeah.
it was like the coolest.
I saw a couple
Yeah.
here. I saw Mountain Goats here, but I mean before that they played the Cactus like a little over a year ago. But I saw them at like Space 1110,
Right.
you know, with like 100 people, BYOB. There might have been 200, but it wasn't many. But yeah, I saw some cool shows. I saw Death Cab for Cute, not here, but in Fort Worth before they blew up. I saw Death Cab, but yeah, it doesn't seem like there is a. Now that there's like the internet and stuff, everybody can like blow up quick, and they don't want to play these little house show. I mean, some bands play house shows. Like I
Well-
saw David Bazan do a house show, but it's
Yeah.
not that much.
Well,
Big
no,
people.
He was just doing like a
Yeah.
smart thing.
Yeah,
Because, like
yeah.
he was actually still making like
making money doing
like
it.
venue tour
Yeah.
money, like
Yeah.
playing in people's living rooms, which
Yeah.
I think is beautiful. You know?
It really is. But so I thought this thing was going to shut off at some point. I'll just talk directly into the microphone. So right now you're kind of you don't reside in Lubbock. You're in the Austin area, nearish.
Yeah.
So what are you doing there right now? I know you were working for like a horror website, doing some like film stuff, like editing and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's still film stuff going on. We just did me and Marcos Morales, one of my video partner
he was
dudes.
with you here a month or two ago when you were in town, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool guy.
He's one of my cohorts, and we just did a short film that was we didn't write it or direct it. We just we produced it.
Okay, cool.
Like shot it and did the sound and the editing and everything. But that was fun.
Is can you watch that anywhere?
I'm not
Yeah.
sure if it's actually out, but we're like out on YouTube. It's been
Okay.
in a few festivals.
Okay, so y'all are.
And it might continue to stay in festivals.
Who directed it?
This woman named Shannon.
Okay.
Jeez.
Yeah. Okay. That's so
um,
you're doing some film stuff, producing.
Shannon Yoakum.
Shannon
I think is your
Shannon
name.
Yoakum.
Sorry
Okay.
if I'm getting your name wrong.
No, that's all right.
Yeah, but God, that is distracting.
I know. I thought it was gonna shut off here
No,
in a
but
second.
we're gonna be doing a part 2 soon, which is gonna be cool.
Okay, so it was a short, and then you're gonna do a sequel to the short.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it's called a Quiet Sales Call.
Is it a horror?
It's a comedy.
Oh,
Actually,
really? Okay.
But it's with some really talented people. The actors are great.
It's crazy how much talent there is in
It
Austin
was
right
in
now.
the Flatland Film Festival.
Oh, the Flatland Film
here.
Festival of Lubbock. I didn't know that. I've never been to that. I've been to they had screenings at Alamo at one point, and I went to some Alamo screenings, but now they just are at Luca, and I just really just forget about it. I'm like, I should. And I have friends that like participate. I was
Yeah.
in a movie. I had a small role in a movie that was part of competition. So like 7 or 8 years ago. But
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I've never attended the actual festival. So, but okay. So A Quiet Sales Call, Shannon Yoakum, you and Marcos produce.
Yeah.
What are you working on? Anything else right now?
I mean, we're always working on stuff.
Mm.
Me and Marcos are working on a script I wrote for a short film.
Okay.
Right now, that's probably gonna be shooting in the I don't know, March, April, something like that.
Okay.
Just depends on funding.
Right.
I don't really want to say anything about that yet.
Okay.
It's kind of it's a horror type of film.
Okay.
But it's like we want to surprise people.
Sure.
with
Yeah.
what we're doing,
Follow Neil and all this stuff because you can find out what's going on when it does get released.
Novelconcept.tv,
Okay.
if it's currently up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is where you can find a lot of the music videos that I've done and that Marcos Morales has also done.
Okay.
Um,
So I want to delve into your newest endeavor because was it about last year you did stand up for the first time?
yeah, it's been about a year and a half.
Year and a
I
half.
guess.
Okay.
A little over a year.
Yeah.
And a half.
And it was the first time you did it at the Bar PM show that I host?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Shout out.
Yeah,
Bar
I
PM.
would never have started trying stand-up comedy if it wasn't for you, man.
Hell yeah. Well, and it's funny because I've known you as like a musician and stuff, but you're fucking funny too.
Thanks.
You've got some really interesting joke premises and stuff that I mean, one of them in particular that I really like is a horror based, the werewolf joke you have.
Yeah.
But if you want to hear it, find out when he does stand up. Or I mean Thursday nights at Bar PM. Are you gonna try and show?
Yeah. No, I'm gonna be out for that.
Yeah. We've got some shows
the
coming
rest
up
of this month.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to write some new jokes. Just
writing jokes because it's one of those things where it's solitary. You don't I mean, you can collaborate with writing jokes, but it's not.
It's a weird thing,
Yeah, it
man.
is.
Like
It's
the
different.
best stuff always comes to me at really odd moments.
Yeah.
Like I'll wake up at 4 a.m. and
Oh,
I'll
really?
have a punchline and I'll be like, "Fuck!" And I gotta
Yeah.
get my phone and because I'm like, there's been so many times I've come up with something and woke up kind of laughing and
Yeah.
then been like, "I'll remember that." And
I've
I
done
woke up
that
the next
too.
day and
Yeah.
been like, I have no fucking idea what that joke was.
Yeah. No,
But some of the most magical stuff just comes to
Yeah.
you.
Well, I
in the
write at the
strangest
gym
times.
sometimes too. Like I'll be on the treadmill and I'll see some goofy looking fucker doing something funny or something on the TV.
Yeah.
So like I wrote a joke earlier, I think when I was at the gym, it's like something about, something I saw on Fox News or something, some
Right.
ridiculous. Cause the news is always, grade A material for topical jokes.
Right. The only
Yeah.
thing I hate about that is everything's got a timestamp on it.
I've
written so many jokes that would have been good, and then I just didn't get to a mic
Yeah.
that week, and then the next week I'm like, it's kind of irrelevant, but damn, it was a good joke.
I know, yeah. I mean, there's still guys, some of my buddies that are telling Mike Tyson, Jake Paul jokes. I'm like, dude, that was 3 weeks ago. But it's still in the social social
Right.
consciousness. But I mean, but if you do a joke, some jokes O.J. Simpson jokes, those are not evergreen. Tanya Harding jokes, but I mean, there are some you can do Trump jokes those are gonna last for a while.
Yeah, but then if you
Yeah.
do those in Lubbock, you lose half your audience
that is
immediately.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened to me a couple weeks ago.
Oh, where when you were at Bar PM or
Yeah.
Lansing? Was it the show? Was it when I was seeing the Marcus King?
It was
when I was
it
out.
was
Yeah,
when you were out.
yeah,
and-
because I haven't seen you since you've been back in. This is the first time I've seen you since you've been back in town this time around. I think.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know.
yeah. But I mean, the stuff like the werewolf joke, that's never gonna. You can tell that joke when you're 80, and that's still gonna be funny because everyone knows what a werewolf is, and fucking a werewolf is funny.
Well, I mean, yeah, no, I mean, that's kind of what inspires me.
Yeah.
I've tried to write jokes about real life stuff,
Yeah.
and it's more like the things that happen in my head
Yeah.
that actually don't happen in real life, that are based on real situations. Those are the things that come out,
Yeah,
the best for me.
right now, how would you, I mean, you've only been doing this a year and a half, so do you have kind of a style that you have adopted, or are you just kind of
I'm still
whatever
trying
works?
new stuff.
Same
like,
here. Same here.
I've got a bunch of good stories, but I don't really want to be like a story comic.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there might be some of those I dive into.
Storytelling is so hard because you've got this long thing, but you have to have jokes
the story. Yeah, you have to have little parts of the head and little punchlines within.
Yeah, I was just thinking about like some of my favorites, like Jim Jeffries or something. He's got that story about shoving that thing up his ass, and then and it's a really long, drawn out story that's a fucked up situation. I'm like, damn, I'm not a fucked up enough person to get these good stories out of it.
Dude, and there's people like Doug Stanhope. One time I saw him do a bit that was like 10 minutes long on like getting drunk and watching football, and suddenly it turns into this gay thing where, you know, the dudes are bent over and their asses are all shiny.
Yeah.
And like,
God,
I'm like, you pulled a joke out of nothing, man, and it was so good. Like, I mean, you know, I still aspire to do things like that, but like a lot of times I'll come up with just like a ridiculous premise, or I'll have a thought about like, what if I did do this, or what if, you know.
Well, and sometimes I'll just see some weird shit or hear something odd, some weird colloquialism, because I have this bit I've been doing about like, you know, when you're talking to like a 25-year-old dude and you're like, yeah, so, and you know, then my girlfriend did this, and then and you're like, oh yeah, that's fair. I'm like, what if it wasn't fair? What if I was like, yeah, so my girlfriend pissed me off, and then I fucked her sister. Yeah, that's fair. No, it's not. That's the least fair thing you could do. But people just say that. They're like, oh,
doing
cool.
it.
Yeah, it's like, that's not fair. And it's a thing that I've noticed. Like every young person I know, like, that's fair. Like, no, where did you?
That's just another one of those colloquialisms where it's kind of like,
I literally shit my pants.
Like they really don't want to listen to you, and they're like, "Oh, that's crazy."
Yeah, well, and it's not even. It's like friends of mine that say that shit. Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, and that's our generation. You know, it's like, whoa, crazy. Oh, yeah, but
sometimes I say that and I mean it. But,
yeah, no, sometimes it is fucking.
Like, or are you serious?
I will say, like, man, I can't imagine. I catch myself. I'm like, shit, I've said that too many times today, because there are just certain words and phrases that, you know, I'm like, I don't want to use that. I don't want to be the guy that always says that.
Well, sometimes people info dump on you.
Yeah, they sure do.
Oh man. Like,
yeah.
I know where you're at, and I know you need somebody to listen to you, but I don't know you well enough to.
I know,
like,
yeah, and
to
comedy
help
is
you with this,
comedy is full of those kind of people that will overshare. I mean, I'm an overshare, but I try and keep things interesting too.
Right? No, man. I mean,
have you gotten the chance to do many open mics in and around Austin? You're in San Marcos, but I know they've got comedy all over the place.
Man, it's crazy there. Like, here's the thing: is like you have to find the places that are like bars where people are already drinking.
Yes. Because you're about 45 minutes from like the heart of Austin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but
their show's closer.
A lot of the open mics, like in San Marcos, or like the main one at least, it's at a coffee shop.
Okay, that's cool.
So it's cool, but it's like a really intimate room. Like, I mean, the size of. Not big. And like, if nobody's coming out and nobody's drinking and nobody's like in a laughing mood, what you get is about like 10 comedians that are just thinking about their own fucking shit while they're listening.
That's a lot of open mics,
and they don't laugh, you know. And like, when you do a room, like, I mean, I get like you got to pay your dues and you got to go up and like practice and stuff. Yeah. But when you can't gauge anything at all, because no one's really paying attention to what you're saying, like, it's like, I mean, if you don't get at least a couple of laughs or a, you know, a snort, something, you know,
it can be fucking discouraging.
So I try to go to the places where like it's bars, because luckily in Austin, like there's, I mean, it's a double-edged sword, but the comedy stuff is blowing up so crazy. That,
I mean,
like,
since Rogan and Segura.
I mean, like every single place has a fucking open mic, and like the sad thing is like the open mics at the some of the comedy clubs are really dismal.
Heard that.
Whereas like just the pop-up ones at places where people go drink anyway,
Yeah.
like you'll get a crowd of like 10, 15 people and you can at least gauge if you get a laugh.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about like Lantern and having the regulars, but sometimes it's real hit and miss, you know, like this last week
both
was
of the
great.
spots we have here are hit and miss, but like, you know, there's times where it works out good.
Yeah. Well, Bar PM is rad because we have 2 rooms, and if people are being loud, like we had some college kids come in last week, and we can just tell them to get the fuck out of there. Or Chris Heiss will just roast them and call them all date rapists, which is hilarious. He's like, oh, quit eating pizza so this bitch can fucking blow you in the back or whatever. He just goes off on them.
So I recorded my set after him last week.
Yeah.
And you should hear what it sounds like, because it sounds like we're in a fucking high school lunch cafeteria.
Oh, really? Just the sound of the room is so big.
The actual people in the room are not making a sound.
That's
so it's
so weird.
like, so you hear all these fucking, you know, like a bus showed up or something.
That's
like 10 minutes before Chris went up, and we both looked at each other like, fuck.
Yeah. Your long lost brother, Chris Heist.
Yeah.
He hasn't been on the video version of the podcast. He was on the audio version. He had a great fucking episode. It was hilarious, but need to have him on here again just to shoot the shit, because that guy
is fun. We should do a panel.
I would be down with that. You get to, you know, three bearded guys talk about shit, and I'm not fat anymore, so it could be like 3 not fat dudes with beards, which y'all both have long hair.
You're actually lighter than me right now.
Yeah, somebody else told me that. I'm like, yeah, I've got like extra skin though, so I don't feel like I'm lighter.
Well, you gotta start working out.
Oh no, I am. I was just at the gym.
Oh,
I'm going
like,
to.
I definitely have like, I mean, you know, there's a musculature in here.
Sure,
so
like, no. Well, you know, and when you get over like 30, you fluctuate. Musculature, yeah. So that would be a good. Why isn't there a band
there's
called
a
Musculature?
Camera on right now.
It's best to forget about it. Okay, so in apropos of nothing, we're almost at 30 minutes, so we got time to kill here. I went to Taco Bell before I came here. Okay. Have you seen that they have brought back like the decades menus?
I've heard about this, and I've been wanting to check it out because I've been a lifelong Taco Bell dude.
Same. I mean, I remember the 90s chili cheese burrito. My brother was fucking pissed when they got rid of it.
Chilito, yeah.
Yeah, or the enchilito was good. I like that. But right now,
with the olive.
So yeah, with the little olive,
the black olive,
yeah. Which Taco Casa has something similar to that.
They're all about the black olives over there.
Yeah, but so they've got. I ordered the 80s Mexi Melt, which is fucking great. It's like $2, $3. It's really, really good. And then I ordered the 70s green sauce burrito. That sucked ass. I ate like 2 bites of them. Nope, this fucking sucks. I don't even know what's on it. It's green sauce and like, I guess, chicken or something. I don't know. It wasn't very good. Kind of bland, which I wasn't alive in the 70s, so I never had it, the OG version. But the 80s Mexi Melt, thumbs up. And then they have the caramel apple empanada back on the menu. You remember that shit?
No, I don't really.
It was like a little fried pie.
Desserts.
Oh, really? This is one of the good ones.
It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Pecan pie.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, yeah. Well, and did they have the Choco Taco back in the day, or was that at Taco Bell?
No, they did.
Yeah, I love that. I fucked with the Choco Taco. But yeah, there was a. So do you remember that Taco Bell that was like on 34th in like Knoxville?
Yeah.
For a long time. That was right in front of. I grew up on like 36th in Louisville. So me and my brother would like get fucking change.
That's right across Indiana.
Yeah. Just near in between Indiana and Quaker. So that's not that far from where we are right now.
Dude, that's the one where like my buddy's older brother worked there.
Oh, really?
And we used to go eat there so much. Like they had do you remember the big beef taco supremes?
Oh yeah.
Like
it was like the taco shell was like a football.
Yeah. Dude, those are so good.
Yeah. No, Taco Bell has really. I'm glad they're doing this. Like, we should. I mean, because every fast food chain is like, we might go under within the next 4 or 5 years. So they're trying to like get people in the door. Taco Bell's always been cheap, so that's why I always do them. They're cheap. They're drunk food. They're open late. That's why I've always been a Taco Bell guy. Fucking Burger King, though. I was a Burger King guy in the 90s. Burger King can suck a dick right now.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just gone downhill and downhill.
Yeah.
And Whoppers have gotten smaller and
Smaller and more expensive. Yeah.
Dude, they used to be... Seriously.
99-cent Whopper. You put another 50 cents, you can get cheese on it. But this was like in the last 15 years.
Split it with somebody. Mm-hmm. It's so big.
Yeah, but yeah, fast food is... It's funny. Because, I mean, you know, with the surgery, me losing weight, I just had the fucking one little thing because I'm like, I need some protein right now before I, you know, pass out. But,
right.
Yeah. So you also, speaking of all this bullshit kind of 70s and 80s aesthetic, you are a VHS collector. I know you buy and sell a lot of VHS. How long have you been doing that? Because I didn't know that there was a market for that until the last probably decade.
Well, like, so, I mean, I did it when I was young.
Yeah.
You know, I had a pretty decent collection when I was young, and I slowly sold it off because at the time,
DVD,
it seemed like DVDs,
Blu-ray,
and Blu-ray, all that stuff was coming. And
there's a lot of shit that was on VHS that never got a proper release.
That's one thing.
Lot.
Yeah, totally. Is like there's some stuff that isn't out on anything but VHS.
Yeah, sad.
But no, man, like so. What got me was like about 5 years ago, I guess, something like that, 5 or 6.
Yeah, because you were doing that when I met you. Because I remember going over to your house and you were showing me all these rad fucking tapes, and I'm like, holy shit, these are.
Like,
so did you buy a video store going out of business?
So what happened was I was trying to clean out some of my bullshit.
Yeah.
And I opened a box and I had about like 20 or 30 VHSs, and I was like, I'm going to see what they're worth on eBay. And I started looking and I was like, holy shit.
It's nuts.
Some of these are crazy. And that was around when Facebook groups were starting to get really popular.
Okay.
So I found a few VHS Facebook groups. And like all of a sudden, like, you know, I was selling stuff I should have done some more research. And in hindsight, if I could have, I should have held on to some of that shit.
Yeah.
Because I sold some stuff for like $15 or $20. It was worth now like $150.
What, like the Little Mermaid with the dick on the cover or something?
No.
You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, no. the whole Disney VHS thing is a sham. But
oh, are they?
Yeah, it's a big joke in the VHS community.
These are going back into the vault. You'll never see them again.
There are people that just read a couple of articles about like, oh, you know, you need the black label, whatever.
It's kind of like Beanie
Disney
Babies.
Bullshit. And then like, so there's people that are like, you know, just busting into the scene like, oh, look, I've got like all these Lady and the Tramps, like $2,000. And
look at my clamshell rescuers down under.
Everyone is just like, look, dude, you're ridiculous. But no, I mean, yeah. And now it's become like this pop culture thing where I'm just waiting for it to die off so
you can start collecting.
Yeah, I don't have to pay $60 for a fucking VHS tape.
Well, I mean, for younger people, because I remember the VHS era, and it was the best era of home. Like DVD never touched it. Blu-ray was kind of, the rental thing was kind of phasing out when Blu-ray came out. Like I remember I was buying like used Blu-rays from Hastings when they were going out of business for like $4 and $5 from Blockbuster from Hollywood. So, and now everything's streaming, but VHS was fucking the best because you had solidly, like there are movies that would have never been made if not for the VHS home market, because you had these guys like Charles Band at like Full Moon Videos that were just producing movies just to sell to video stores.
Right.
And it's crazy.
No,
people
was
don't
a
realize
whole,
that.
like subculture to it, like people making mixtapes and stuff.
I don't even know much about that.
I mean, that was a whole thing.
Were you doing all the trading online and stuff with like, did you ever get into that or was it?
Yeah, like I used to trade live bootleg videos of bands and stuff. And at one point I had like some crazy ones. Like,
oh, wow.
Some other Lightning Bolt shows.
Okay.
And Jesus Lizard.
Oh, right. They're touring again?
Yeah.
I saw a video. You might have posted it.
I just saw them, dude.
How was it?
Dude, they're as great as ever. Like
That's awesome.
It's crazy.
That's awesome.
Like those guys are all in their 60s.
Yeah,
and
no, they're
like,
not young.
they are rocking it still. Like
I love that.
Tighter than ever.
That's great. So there, yeah, and then that was sort of, I mean, is that sort of where Porno Helmet came out of? Because it was sort of music and video stuff. I mean, your interest in both of those things sort of collided for that project.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I had wanted to do some audiovisual things, and then like I had also been playing with the idea of having like a solo drum project, and I had rigged up this situation where like, you know, I got a bass drum here, and I got a foot pedal over here that's hitting a keg, and a snare drum, and some cymbals, and I got my guitar sitting on my bass drum, running through a bunch of pedals. And I would tune in a certain way, and I would hit it, and then do stuff. With
with the stick. You just hit it with the
I would just smack the strings.
So it would be like in an open tuning, and you
and then I had all the you know, all the pedals and stuff down by my feet,
so you could control all the triggers and shit.
Right, and it was just something I was playing around with. But then like there was a show that I booked in Austin with Lightning Bolt, and like it was kind of I mean, it should be a legendary show, but it was just like kind of a crazy thing. But so at the time, I knew the guys at the Old Emos on 6th Street.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, do you guys want to bring this Lightning Bolt band down there? And then, like, it just cascaded because there were all these other bands coming through town. So it was like Lightning Bolt, Red Scare, Orchid, like all these.
Oh, wow.
Employee, which is like a legendary fucking kind of grind fucking.
What were they called?
Employee.
Emporium employee?
Employer employee.
Oh, employee. I know. It's kind of a mouthful.
It is, yeah. But yeah, so all these bands, my band Dolores played. And like this thing happened, like Lightning Bolt never plays on the stage, or they have like in recent times because they've started to get so big that they're on these big music festivals and stuff. But like for the longest time, they would play on the floor somewhere else besides the stage. So they were set up over here, and like something went wrong. Like they blew a breaker, and like Brian, the bass player, like could not get his rig to work right for like 10 minutes, and they were trying to play. And finally, that dude got so mad he just tossed his bass on the floor and walked outside.
Oh fuck!
But then Chippendale, who had all his pedals on his vocals and stuff, he sat there and for like 15 minutes he did a set by himself.
Oh shit, that's cool.
And that was what inspired me to fucking do Porno Helmet. Really, I was like, oh my god, like
that's
I could do a whole. I could do something by myself. Yeah. And it's funny because like, I mean, he started a thing later on called Black Pus. I don't think he was even doing it back then.
Really?
This was like,
that's so cool. So you kind of got the inspiration 25 years ago to start doing that shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, totally. And then like, and then now it's funny because he has his solo thing and I have my solo thing. We never played together. And I don't even think I've ever told him that story. Like I still see him out, and you know we're friends.
There you go. Where is Lightning? I mean, that dude's in Lightning Bolt, right? Mm-hmm. Where are they based out of right now?
As far as I know, Providence, Rhode Island.
Okay, wow, that's a long. Have you done? I know you've toured like down in like done shows in Mexico and then in Europe. Have you done much touring within the U.S.?
Yeah.
Okay,
actually,
I've heard less about that.
Okay, well, so like Dolores played in Providence, Rhode Island with Lightning Bolt on that same tour when they were on.
What did you play in Dolores? Were you
I was the guitar player. Singer.
Okay. Okay. So it was your band basically.
Yeah. Okay. At one point, Mark Key was in the band.
Okay. I've heard his name a lot. I don't think I know him.
He's the guy that's the guitar vocalist from the Dead Sea.
Okay.
And Dining with Dogs.
Okay.
And he also plays in Black Ops.
Okay.
Which is
he a Lubbock guy?
Yeah, originally.
Okay. Nice. So y'all were touring. Y'all played in Providence. Did you do like a whole tour with Lightning Bolt, or was that sort of a one-off show?
That was a one-off show.
Okay.
Like there's, and Mark wasn't in the band at that time. It was a guy named Brad Bell.
Okay.
He was just that'd be a whole other podcast. He's a really good friend of mine.
Cool.
Done a lot of producing. He worked in Stuart Sullivan's studio in Austin.
Nice.
He helped engineer that Arcade Fire record.
Oh, shit.
That won Grammys and stuff.
Oh, like The Funeral or the first one? Yeah, that's a good record.
He was one of the engineers on that.
Cool. So it's crazy how, I mean, both you and Jamie have had these brushes and have worked and toured with people that blew up and got huge.
Yeah.
And then, but were you ever close? Were you ever talking to any fucking record label people or anything like that at any point? Have interest?
Well, the Dead Sea was on a smaller record label called Pluto that was a subsidiary of Warner Brothers East West.
Okay.
So we were actually fully distributed.
Oh, wow.
Like
okay.
our CDs, our first record was in every Best Buy on CD.
I had no idea.
In the U.S.
It's called the Dead Sea.
The Dead Sea, SEE. Yeah.
SEE. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So like Dead People See.
And we did several tours up the West Coast. We toured to Chicago.
Were y'all headlining or were y'all
Did a lot
opening?
of stuff in the South. It just depends.
Yeah.
We headlined some stuff. We also played with a lot of really cool bands.
Any festivals, stuff like that?
We did a thing. It wasn't really a festival. It was more like a tour down to South by Southwest with a bunch of Relapse bands. But
nice.
We did a few gigs down to South by. God, I can't remember what year it was, but it was with Face Down and Shit.
Okay.
Torch.
Torch, Torche.
Yeah.
I've seen them before. Saw them open for Coheed and Cambria one time.
Yeah, no, they're an amazing band.
Yeah.
I guess they're done now, but they were. That was Steve from Floor. That was in that.
Nice.
And then Deadbird, who's got Chuck from Wake.
Okay.
In it.
It's crazy to me how many
Toxic Holocaust.
Toxic Holocaust. Okay, I don't know that band.
Bunch of crazy shit. So
Yeah,
we kind
that
of did
cool.
like a 2 or 3 date thing down to Austin with them. We didn't play any big festivals, but we played some really cool shows.
Did you like touring when you did that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love touring.
I've never gotten it. I mean, I've done some comedy shows, like overnight, Abilene and San Angelo and stuff. Getting, they'll put me up for the night or something, or I'll get paid enough to book a hotel room. Right. Never really done a full tour like that. I
imagine as a comedian, it's got to be a lot more lonely.
You're
with a crew of dudes when you tour with a band.
Yeah.
And, sometimes you're on the road and you play multiple shows with other bands and you get to bro down for a couple days.
It's always fun because I've done one comedy festival that I met a lot of people, and I'm still and then I'll go out of town to do shows and I'll meet comics from other places, but and we'll stay in touch and they'll text me if they're coming through town and we'll do a show together. I mean,
That's awesome.
Yeah, I had it on Thanksgiving. I had this guy from LA, Abe, who he does stand up in LA, but his dad's a tech professor, so he comes back here at the holidays. So I saw him at Thanksgiving. But I think most big comics, they don't really do the thing where they'll get in a car and fucking drive around. Like some do that. I know I think Doug Benson maybe did. Kyle Kinane does that. But they're most of your big comics just go out on the weekends. They'll just fly to Milwaukee and do two shows a night for 2 nights and then fucking go back home to their wives. And that doesn't sound bad at all. Getting to fly somewhere, you're not spending hours and hours in a car, But I could see the fun of it if you're with a group of guys. You're fucking you know, eating Taco Bell.
I mean, I think that would be a cool format for a comedy tour.
And I mean, there was that.
Just getting a fucking van. And
did you ever
having,
watch that?
Dudes, because you don't have any gear. You know
No. There's no. Yeah, I mean, the sound equipment is at the venues, but they did So there was this thing called the Comedians of Comedy. It was sort of like the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, or like Kings of Comedy. It was just Patton Oswalt, Brian Posehn, Maria Bamford, and Zach Galifianakis when Zach was still doing stand up. And they did this thing where the three of them, like, or four of them, got an RV and just like did a comedy tour in the early 2000s. And I'm like, that's fucking rad. And I remember one of my buddies saw that really famous tour that it was Dave Attell, Lewis Black, and Mitch Hedberg.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he saw that in Austin, and but yeah, there are some, but yeah, it just doesn't happen as much as you think, because I guess comedians are, I don't know, some of us can be hard to be around sometimes. So,
well, you just you would have to just find people that were like being serious about what they're trying to do more than partying or acting like a fucking asshole.
Yeah, that is true. And I mean, I've
there are a lot, there are a lot of people in comedy that are just like,
oh yeah,
they just want to be a fucking freak. And
and I mean, if you can do that on stage and be a normal human being off stage, guys like Casey Rocket or whatever. But
I mean, I haven't really met any of those dudes yet.
Yeah. There's some interesting, but it's funny because you're talking about touring with some of these artists that went on to more acclaim and stuff. I did this comedy festival I was on. There was this woman who she's based out of Austin now, but she was a porn star. She did porn and then got into stand up. I can't remember her name right now, but she actually came to Lubbock back. Oh gosh, wow. I was doing a show another night, but yeah, and I'm like, oh wow, I've seen her do stand up and suck a giant cock.
That's crazy.
Yeah, she's got big fake titties. She was cool though. I talked to her a little bit, and I cannot remember. I'll have to. I think it's like Aaliyah Janine or something like that. She's cool. She's funny, but yeah, she's in Austin.
Does she tell a lot of sex jokes or?
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of that, but I mean, I don't think she leans on it.
What else is there to talk about?
There's not. I mean, a lot of my jokes are dirty. Which, I mean, I know some really funny, clean comics, but I prefer the dirty stuff, the werewolf fucking,
Yeah, I mean, the shock rock.
Yeah, and you've been a fan of stand up for way before you started. You mentioned
since I was a little kid. Man.
You've been a fan. So back when you were a little kid, who did you like Kinnison, Eddie Murphy, Dice?
Yeah, like I started watching. I think some of the first comedy I saw was Eddie Murphy Raw.
Yeah.
And then like the first two like comic relief festivals.
Oh yeah, with Robin Williams and Billy Crystal.
Yeah, Robin Williams, dude.
Yeah.
And then Sam Kinison was huge because like that bridged the comedy rock and roll.
Oh yeah,
gap,
he ruled.
Like he instantly turned into like this cokehead rock star.
Oh yeah, very much.
Singing Wild Thing and having Slash do a guitar solo.
Yeah, and he shows up in
and that was
Rodney movies.
Also, also when I was discovering like rock and roll and heavy metal, so it was just like, who is this fucking guy that's just like,
and he was a former preacher.
Right? Well, that's where he learned it.
Yeah, the hellfire and brimstone, yeah.
And then, Richard Pryor.
Oh, the best.
I saw Stephen Wright when I was about 10 or
really?
Where
was that here in Lubbock?
Yeah.
Where at?
The Lubbock Municipal Amphitheater.
Oh, man. Yeah, Stephen Wright was pretty clean. He could have.
He got a little dirtier, in his, but he was telling the same jokes and just being more like, bah.
Did you ever go to Froggy Bottoms here when it was?
No.
Me neither.
I heard advertisements for it on the radio, but at that time, like, it was a little bit before, like, when I would, hear about Froggy Bottoms, it was always like some comedians, I didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
And like the furthest I knew was like seeing like those like half-hour comedy specials on MTV or USA or some of that stuff. So like I knew who a few of those people were, but like not all of them were great.
You knew the big comics, yeah.
Yeah,
that were
like if
on
Eddie
MTV.
Murphy would have played.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, no kidding, right?
But
well, you know the funny thing, one of the professors at Tech, he went there. He went to Froggy Bottoms. He told me he saw like Bill Burr in the late '90s, early 2000s. They're like when he's like, oh, when he still had hair. He's like, oh yeah, he had.
Oh, dude, that would have been cool.
Bill Hicks came here at some point in the late '80s, early '90s.
I'm sure, yeah.
I heard about that on a podcast.
He was, he was
Texas-based comic. I mean, yeah.
I mean, he was a big one for me too.
Yeah.
Like that brought me back into it. Like,
well, in Hicks, I mean, having so much association. I mean, I think Houston was where he started, but I mean, a lot of like that Sacred Cow stuff's out of Austin.
Yeah,
and that still exists. Yeah,
big in Austin.
Yeah, it's crazy. I love Hicks. If he's one that like faked his own death, and I know that wasn't really his style. Everybody thought Andy Kaufman did that, but. I love that Bill Hicks is Alex Jones conspiracy theory. You've heard that one, right?
God,
yeah, that one's really funny. There were some people that made a compelling argument, but yeah, no.
I've hung out with Alex Jones. He is not Bill Hicks.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, yeah, and he's probably. I think he's about 10 years younger than Bill Hicks too. Yeah, that's crazy. So how's old Alex doing right now?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. You hung out with him, but before he went crazy, I guess.
He was fairly crazy, but
he's like, let me tell you about the Sandy Hook thing and how it didn't happen.
A friend of mine used to work for him.
Yeah. I think you told me that.
We're not going to talk anymore about that. But,
yeah, of course not.
But yeah, no, I mean, I've hung out with a dude in the bar a couple of times, and he's not near as outlandish.
Oh no, I mean he's got friends. I mean he's friends with Rogan. He's friends with the Jordan Peterson, those guys. So.
Yeah, but he's kind of a joke among them.
Is he really? I mean that makes sense now that he's lost everything. Lost his.
No, they sold his fucking.
Yeah, they sold it to the Onion or something. I don't know. I was hearing something weird.
The Onion bought it.
That's crazy.
It's funny because I was like. I've got a picture of me sitting at the InfoWars desk with the InfoWars shit all up behind me, and I'm like,
you're like, this is not Photoshop. This is real.
No, it was real. I hung out in the office like after hours when he wasn't there.
That's crazy. Okay, so we're almost at an hour. So this is called the Breaking Hyman podcast, because it's funny because my last name's Hyman. Breaking Hyman. It says it right up here. But we end the show with. How'd you break your hymen, buddy? How we ask our guests how their virginity story. Like if you care to share, you can share as much or as little as you want. It's like it was this dude in an alley, or what? That doesn't count. It's got to be consensual to count. But
yeah.
Let's
not count that one.
Yeah, no, exactly. I've heard women say that. Well, the first time I didn't have a choice. I'm like, that isn't usually losing your virginity. That's like an asshole taking advantage of you. But Lori had that concern when I first brought up the idea when she was still co-hosting.
I think too many people who might listen to this would know too much.
Okay, well, you're gonna opt out then. All right, cool.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. As clearly, I mean, I don't know many dudes their first experience wasn't awesome. Because it usually is for young men. But last week though, we had my friend P on here, and she had an awesome story. She was like, it was great. So I'm like, good for you. I'm glad you're one of the women that has that.
I'm pretty sure it was awesome for.
It was her. It was her too. I wonder if it was P. We should see if it was the same. No, probably not. This girl's like 23. So unless you lost your virginity the last 6 years, probably not her.
No.
Yeah, man. So where can, I mean, I think we mentioned it earlier. Where can people find you? Porno Helmet, POOR.
Yeah.
HELMUT. Instagram.
On Instagram.
Do you have a TikTok or anything where you post videos?
No, I'm
not
getting
yet.
to that, man.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, they might shut the friggin' thing down.
I've been waiting for them to, and I still get videos with likes.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube under Porno Helmet with a U. You can find me on Facebook, probably.
Neil Barrett.
And
are you related to Sid? I've never asked you.
No.
That'd be cool.
I mean, maybe, probably.
Yeah. You've probably done a lot of acid. The same as him. Haven't gone crazy yet, though.
Yeah.
Oh God. Well, thanks, dude. This was fun. I'm
No,
glad.
this has
I'm
been
glad we
great,
did
dude.
this. Yeah, we got to have you in here while you're in town for the holidays. But check out Neil, and this will come out soon. Come to Bar PM on Thursday to
Also,
see
Neil C. Barrett on Instagram.
Neil C. Barrett.
Which is where I'll eventually be putting up comedy content.
Hell yeah! It's
if anybody ever laughs at anything.
We'll get them. We'll get those laughs. But hey, thanks for watching the Breaking Hyman podcast, and peace out.